rules. There weren't such strict rules because it just came along with the job. You had to obviously take notice of the mate and the skipper who dished the orders out. But it was a job that came along naturally. You learned as you went along from your other deckhands and your other crewmen. How much did each ship land? Well, that could vary a lot because a lot depended on luck, weather, experience. Your trip could last anywhere from 16 days to 26. So an average trip would be what we would call 2,000 10-stone kits, which would be around about 150 tons. A good trip, like the Arctic Corsair that's laid outside there, she could land what we call again 3,500 10-stone kits, which would be 205 tons, full up. That's a lot of fish. Well, that was gained by experience. You learnt as you went along. You did a lot of writing, believe it or not. If you wanted to get to the top, to be a skipper, you had to learn all about the ship and the trawl itself, but also about the fishing grounds. And you learnt them by experience and from the men that you sailed with, your father, your uncle, your grandfather. Everything was written down in books, and to answer your question, where, how did you know where? Because it took it into consideration. It was seasonal. A classic example of where do you go from January to March would be the breeding season. And that would be when all the fish, especially up towards the north of the Arctic Circle, would come from underneath the polar ice cap to lay its eggs on the edge of the continental shelf. And that's when the fish was big, huge, fat, and plenty of it. That's one example of learning from your skippers, mates, boatswains that you sailed with.